It's time to play ball. Welcome to the podcast with no limits. Whether it be sports, current events, or random thoughts, this is the place to step in and stay a while. Your host is a proud alumnus of Rio Hondo Prep, a former minor league baseball umpire, and a man with strong opinions. Welcome to the Get Home Safe podcast and your host, Matt Hersema.
Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of Get Home Safe. I'm a little late today on my Thursday episode, although I'm not sure when I'm going to release this, probably today, but definitely had some things going on today. Couldn't get the early morning release like I usually am able to do. You know, when you're off on Thursday, it's kind of you pile everything into that day, try to get everything done, and sometimes things don't go as planned. So we always get home safe and we compensate and adjust. Anyway, happy the end of September here, finishing up. It's been a nice month, kind of that in-betweener, summer to fall month, but hopefully good, cool weather coming up here soon where we don't have to run the air conditioning anymore, and we can try out some of the fall treats. Fall isn't here very long. It seems like it's gone in the blink of an eye. I know football season sure is, especially at the high school level. You blink and it's, wait, week 6, week 7, what happened? So anyway, good day to you all. Weekend fast approaching and going to be another fun football-filled weekend. I'm pretty bummed that as of now, as I'm recording here Thursday afternoon, Rio Hondo Prep had their game canceled on Friday from Glendale. A bunch of I'm trying to watch my words here, but just canceled the game. Just, no reason. If you guys had a cold or something, I won't go into details, but it's just the world we live in here. And so now it's unfortunate my alma mater has an open date, if you will, on homecoming of all days. So it's okay. They'll move past it. They'll move forward. Hopefully they find opponent, but it's not looking good on short notice. A few things of note. I just finished up my second full year at FedEx. Rather happy, rather proud about that. When the summer of 2020, a lot of things going on, a lot of uncertainty. I wasn't sure if my officiating career was going to continue. I kind of, my heart had started to fade away from it anyway. And when everything ended in, March of 2020, there was definitely some soul searching. And when everyone was at home for a few months on unemployment, you definitely put some thought into your life and your future. And I was fortunate to start up this podcast and to get that going strong. So we are, looking now, this is our 382nd episode on the Get Home Safe podcast. So episode 400, it will be approaching here in a few weeks. And now that we're going one day a week, it is what it is. I started going 5 days a week during the lockdown stuff because I had time and it was great talking and connecting to people. So this thing has evolved and it's so much different from what I initially thought it would be. In some ways, it has now reached what I wanted it to be. I wasn't sure when I started. Is this going to be my opinion, sports, politics? Is it going to be a little bit of everything? I don't know. I mean, have you ever started a project? You start doing something, you don't really know the direction, and then it gives you ideas for other things, other avenues. I mean, the Charge to Keep podcast, that came to fruition because of the vision and the different things I've tried out here on the Get Home Safe podcast. I ended up talking to a ton of people in interviews, and a lot of it from Rio Hondo Prep and Care Youth League. And I thought, well, why not I followed the football program last year on the Get Home Safe podcast, and just eventually was like, what do we do? What do we do a football only podcast and build on the camaraderie and the alumni and just the history that's already there? And it's been outstanding. So I couldn't have done the Charge to Keep podcast without talking into my phone one day here on the Get Home Safe podcast, just saying, well, I don't do pictures. I don't like videos. Like I wouldn't mind getting things off of my chest. And some of you may disagree with a lot of things I say or believe it. Hopefully you keep coming back. And I have noticed that most of the attention does go to the Charge to Keep podcast, and rightfully so, especially when I have guests and things. I don't really have guests here anymore. I will start bringing guests back on, but this is going to be a once a week podcast. Now it's gone from 5 to 3 to 2 days to now 1 day a week. And that's just kind of the evolution of it all and work schedule wise. But anyway, back to FedEx. I mean, 2 years there. It was so funny how things work out. I've been told for years, hey, you should come work at FedEx. And I was busy officiating. I didn't want to be tied down or anything. I wanted to be able to go work random games. I was living what was called a game check life, a game fee life. Go do a job, get paid, hopefully within a few days. And I had no vision. I was pursuing this officiating career, trying to take officiating to the highest level in each sport. And I had great success. I wouldn't change anything, but I was just kind of living that life of, hey, so what do you do for a living? I'm an official, but it's not really a full-time gig. I mean, when I was in minor league baseball, different story. Yeah, it was your life. But I guess with the FedEx thing, there were days when I started pursuing and setting out applications. I originally was accepted to another station in another city that would have not been as well as I ended up. Like, God really had some influence in how I landed where I landed, and I couldn't be happier. I really enjoy my job. I enjoy my coworkers. I enjoy the mission and the journey every day of going in there. All right, let's get these packages where they got to be. You get to be Santa Claus every day for the most part. And there's some hot days, some physical days, but it's also fulfilling, and it suits me very, very well. So the first few months at FedEx, I wasn't sure what to expect. I was like, we went into the Christmas season. I'm now going into my third Christmas season, or peak, as we like to call it. Basically, all of November, December are just chaotic and a lot of long hours, but it really is fun. I don't wake up any morning now dreading going to a job. And there's other jobs I've done where I hated going there every day. But we have tasks. We have, you got to be organized. You got to be tough. You got to be physical. You got to be smart, and you got to be safe on the road too. That's a big, big deal. So it really does suit me. And I couldn't be happier that I've been there now 2 years. September 24th was my official start date. And I'm looking forward to a long career there. And it's awesome having these work benefits and health insurance, all these things people talked about being so important. I'm like, oh, you know what? Yeah, this is pretty neat having this stuff. I wanted to do this sooner. I really wish I would have started FedEx sooner. But I think at times, if we're all honest about those things, the trials and tribulations, the things we experience in life, some things you need to experience to end up where you're supposed to be. And if you tried to get there earlier, or maybe you achieved something earlier, maybe you wouldn't have learned as much about yourself and as much just the experiences you would have had. So I thought I was going to be an official for life. People are still asking me, "Are you going to come back to college baseball?" And I'm pretty happy, man. This podcasting thing has really given me an opportunity to just unleash a passion of mine, not just to get home safe with the charts, to keep following my Real Hondo football team and making that program bigger than it's ever has been, or assisting in that. And then the Get Home Safe podcast. I don't know. I'm going to have more guests on here. And as life goes, I'm going to get better at this thing too. At least I hope. After 380 cracks at this, hopefully I'm a lot better than those early days. I listen back now and I'm like, oh man, audio was terrible. And my voice was terrible. It just everything. Anyway, 2 years at FedEx. I'm really happy. 2 years and counting. And this is the third year of the Get Home Safe podcast. We started in April of 2020 or March, January, somewhere in there. And with that full year, went all of 2021. And then here we are in 2022. That'll be wrapping up soon. I mean, in a few months, we'll be into the fourth season of the Get Home Safe podcast. And I hope you will be with me along every step of the way. Well, where do we go? I wrote down a bunch of just randomness for this week. And we're going to bounce around a little bit here. First of all, the rapper Coolio, at 59 years old, died recently. I wasn't a huge fan or anything, but if you grew up in the 90s, how could you not remember that song, Gangster's Paradise? Just that intro music that was spoofed by Weird Al Yankovic in Amish Paradise. If you want a cleaner version of Gangster's Paradise, go listen to Weird Al sing Amish Paradise. Pretty funny. Back when we can like tease each other and make fun of things and people weren't sensitive, it was pretty cool. So Coolio, I guess he had some other hits as well. But I think that intro, that music to that, what was the movie? Dangerous Minds, I think, with Michelle Pfeiffer. That was like the theme song. And I don't know, I didn't know anything about his life or anything, but I just, someone from your past I didn't meet him or was a fan, but just that song in the 90s, I think was a big hit that all of us kids loved. And it was probably a rap song that one of our earlier rap songs for people my age that we like listening to, and our parents were probably, what is that? Turn that out, all that stuff. Like they did when they were kids, when they were listening to the Beatles or whatever, and their parents told them to turn that stuff off and so on. But anyway, rap music now is atrocious. And if you had to edit it all out, there'd be like 4 words. There'd be like 4 words in every song because nothing else could be said. Anyway, enough of that. That was just some news that occurred recently. Just yesterday, Aaron Judge for the Yankees hit his 61st home run, tying the great Roger Maris. Roger Maris Jr. was in attendance. I thought that was rather classy. And it was up in was it in Toronto? I think it was in Toronto. I could be wrong there. Should have fact checked that, right? But congrats to Aaron Judge, a California dude, went to Fresno State. A guy I don't know a ton about, but as far as like from an umpire standpoint, I don't see him getting too many beefs as far as arguing with umpires or things of that nature. So I've always, not really been a fan, but I've always thought him and the way he carried himself is quite well. And the Aaron Judge, having 61 home runs and counting, right? A few more games left here in the season. It really took me back to 1998 and the Mark McGwire, Sammy Sosa, the home run chase. Was it 98? Yeah, it was nice striking 95. But I just remember that was one of the first times as a kid where I started watching highlights every night. What was I, 13? I was watching it before then, but that was one of the first times baseball wise I really started to get fired up about. And every night you'd see, did Big Mac or Sammy hit another one? I got my hair cut the night McGwire hit 62 to break the record. And I remember getting a haircut, and there was a Play It Again Sports right next door. And I said, Mom, I got to run in there and we didn't have phones or any of those things back then. And I ran inside to Play It Again Sports because I knew when the Cardinals were playing, which I never would have known in the past, but that was such a big deal, right? The home run record. I ran in there. I said, did he hit one yet? And the guy said, yeah, he just hit one. Just barely cleared the wall. He's got the record. And it was just one of those moments I'll never forget being a kid. So for Aaron Judge to now do it, tied for the most home runs in the American League, although the whole AL, NL records don't mean as much anymore because there is so much interleague play. But still goes without saying, Aaron Judge to break Roger Maris's record. And I mentioned to you guys a few weeks ago, I watched for the first time the movie 61, directed by Billy Crystal, about that summer of 1961 and Roger Maris's chase to break Babe Ruth's record. So really cool stuff. Great movie. Barry Pepper, outstanding actor. And I thought that movie, that's something I think everyone should go see if they haven't seen it. But congrats to Aaron Judge. His last name's great. And so he's got all the people in the judge, gowns and everything in the stands. It's really, really cool. So congrats to him. And baseball's all about numbers, right? Baseball's all about the history and the stats. And it's just awesome that even in 2022, when the game has changed quite a bit, that we still have some iconic moments here in baseball. And yeah, it's kind of a bummer that it happened in Canada of all places, who still believes in certain things. But I won't get into that. I won't get into it. We'll step away. But Aaron Judge, congrats on number 61. Let's see, how many games are left, kids? Do we know? Let me see. 76 and 79, 140, 100 and I was never good at math. 154. So we got 8 games left for a lot of these teams, probably this weekend and then into next weekend, right? So who knows? Maybe Judge gets hot and he chases down 70 for that or 73 for that guy who had an asterisk, or the 73 and 70. And I would go as far as 66 from Barry Bonds and Big Mac and Sammy Sosa, respectively. I don't know. I think Aaron Judge, I put an asterisk next to those guys, but Aaron Judge seems pretty clean to me. No issues. Maybe I will crown him as the home run king versus those guys, at least in a single season, because we all know the great Hank Aaron, of course. And we don't take into account that guy who hit more than Hank Aaron because he cheated. We know that. We cheated. No one gets that. No one's head gets that big later in life and gets bulkier and bigger. Anyway, Barry Bonds. Man, you weren't a Dodger fan if you weren't able to sit in the stands and scream at Barry Bonds. And then he beat the Dodgers. It was just painful. Anyway, I'm glad he's gone away. So congrats to Aaron Judge. People are making a big deal about this whole Ken Dorsey thing. Did you guys see this? The Buffalo Bills offensive coordinator, he's up in the booth. The Bills ran out of time in Miami, and he loses it. He starts throwing stuff as the game ends. There's a camera in there, right? Because the media has to see everything. And then they want to see the most private moments of teams. And then they're like shocked by their actions. I got news for you. You know what else they do? They also swear. They also use bad language on the field. Yeah. They probably use terms you don't like either. Terms that wouldn't fly in 2022. But this is my point. You're the ones that go in and well, show me about this is my issue when, like, I'll say it again. No issues with females in sports, especially football. All right. But you don't just get placed there just because we've never had something before. Right. If it's earned, by all means. Yeah. There's always going to be questions about, because when someone steps into it, we'll say, take it off of football, take it out of sports. Someone steps into a predominantly male profession, and even the other way, someone steps into a predominantly female profession, the male shouldn't be like, well, you guys need to change the way you've been doing things and your attitude and your language and the things, because I'm a male and I'm not used to the way you guys are talking or the way you guys handle business. No, if you're going to come into something where you are, I don't know what the proper term would be. You're new and you are, I don't know, you're the groundbreaking person. Sorry, things don't get to, you don't get to change everything because you don't like how things are. You volunteered to join this club. I'm off a little bit here, but the media is losing their mind over a coach being mad about losing a game on the last play of the game. I got news for you. I used to throw stuff. I used to get mad. I mean, what did he do that was so? These coaches work for like 20 hours a day in preparation for these games, and they ran a play where they couldn't get out of bounds to get a shot at a field goal or something on the last play of the game. Yeah, that would irritate me too, because you probably talked about it in practice all week. Hey, on this play, in this scenario, we got to make sure we get out of bounds. We got to do this. When your team doesn't do that, get out of here. You guys want emotion, and we want to see true emotion from people. Then someone shows it, and it's like I don't even know why it's a story. Why I'm talking about it now, except I thought it was authentic and real, and it wasn't a tantrum like some people are talking about. Tantrum is a wide receiver begging for the ball and hey, I don't get the ball enough. Give me the ball. I'm competing. I'm passionate. Or someone says something to another guy on the field that's totally unacceptable, or an official. Well, they're just competing. They're just passionate. I thought you people love that stuff. Not saying you people like you people. I mean my audience. Whoever's listening to this. Certain things you can't say anymore, I guess. I hardly ever drink Coca-Cola. But when it's your day off, you splurge a little bit. You know what I mean? Good stuff. I used to drink Coke like when I was a kid and teenager, even in high school, college. I used to drink it like it was going at us like it was gold. 44 ounces, or what I used to do is buy that 64-ounce jug because you could refill it for like 89 cents or something. Oh, so bad for me. Anyway, I know I look like I drink a lot of soda, but I don't, I swear. Let me see. Back to this football stuff. My brother Sam had a great point. The whole running quarterback thing. He kind of, the comparison I had was, you're going to burn these guys out, and he made a point to say when in a different sport, like Mike D'Antoni, when he came to the Lakers, he's playing Kobe Bryant 40 plus minutes a night. He ran Kobe into the ground, especially with a high octane offense. And maybe that's why Kobe tore his Achilles at the end of the year. Just wear and tear. There's a management. And to the people out there saying, well, Matt, they got to utilize their athleticism, their quarterback. They're okay. Here's what I want to do. Let's put it to bed right now. You know where I stand. If you really are a firm believer in quarterbacks, they should run and get as many yards and set these records. And it's so great and wonderful. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to support publicly that you wouldn't mind your quarterback returning kickoffs, being a punt returner. Well, it's the same thing, right? Why wouldn't you do that? Why wouldn't you want your your quarterback returning punts? How come no one does? Could it be they don't want him taking shots? They don't want him getting tackled more than they should? I think Lamar Jackson would be an awesome punt returner. Kyler Murray for sure. He could run around and have to, the beauty of being a punt returner, you don't have to think about throwing. You just get the ball running around. Tim Tebow, he should return kickoffs. No, it doesn't make Matt. That's foolish. Why would, come on. the same reason. Why not let your quarterbacks return kicks? Put your money where your mouth is. Oh, you don't want to do that? You think it's too risky? Why is it too risky to return kickoffs for a quarterback who's really athletic and fast? But having designed running plays for him, that's safer. Matt, the kickoff is the most dangerous position. And most of them go in the end zone anyway. Put them back there. Come on, get the other team to kick it short just to be like, hey, we want to tackle their quarterback. That'd be funny if a kick returner slid. You know what I mean? Punt returner, he's running around, about to get leveled, just slides. Anyway, I'm gonna stay on this thing, this whole running quarterback thing. Do you realize the people that are on the other side of the ball? Do you realize, I mean, for Ezekiel Elliott to still be in the league as a running back, however many years he's been playing, how unique and rare it is for running backs to last as long as they do. But you want to shave years off of your quarterback's lifespan in the league, like you do with running backs. Doesn't make sense to me. Not to say you can't scramble, but this whole, especially the design runs like up the middle. Good luck. Not for long, man. Not for long. What else? I'm bouncing around everywhere today. Staying on the football topic, this Monday night, Rams 49ers. Oh, so nervous, so scared. I know the Rams got him in the NFC Championship last year. I always love reminding them of that. Those LA 49er fans, which I still cannot figure out. You people are wrong. You're backwards. You make zero sense. I'm going to stay on this. Well, there was no team here. Well, then why did you root for the 49ers of all teams? You know how many other teams you could have rooted for? Well, let's see. I hate the San Francisco Giants. There's a team up. I could root for them. San Francisco 49ers. There's a football team. You guys are all front runners. And just admit it. Niners are really good in the 80s. Some good times in the 90s. As you were kids growing up, it's like, go Niners, man. Niners. I'm the faithful. How come, I say these people all the time. How come, you ever notice that? I'm a Cowboys fan. I'm a 49ers fan. How come you never say the city before I would be embarrassed of saying anything San Francisco, LA for that matter too. But you root for teams because of where you're at. Why is it so difficult to figure out? The 49er pandemic. I got to tell you, I'm terrified. The Rams go up there to Santa Clara this Monday night. Last year's Monday night game. Niners just ran the ball down the Rams' throat. That's when I thought I thought it was over. I think that was that was during the 3-game losing stretch. I was like, this is it. This is over. Season's over. Rams won't win anything. And then, of course, they turned it around and proved me wrong, as they don't often do, but other people often do. Anyway, 49er Rams. I'm terrified. Monday night. But at the same time, I guess I can sleep well knowing the Rams won the Super Bowl last year. But again, you can't live that much in the past. It's still 2 times a year. Rams 49ers. It's like a disease. It gets me fired up, but it's also a terrifying experience. I mean, I don't want to lose. I don't want them to lose more than I want them to win. So that I won't even be that happy that they win. I just will be happy that they don't lose. Do you guys ever have that feeling with your rivals? I sure do. So Rams 49ers, a great rivalry indeed. Niners have won 7 straight in the regular season. Of course, the game last year in the NFC Championship game, finally breaking the streak. But I'm sure the 49ers will keep this thing going because they tend to own the Rams. I know they are co-owners with Stan Kroenke, the San Francisco 49ers, co-owners of the Los Angeles Rams, which we will see if that continues here. If Aaron Donald and company have anything else to say about it, please help me, Rams. I don't want to live in a world. The 49ers, the Rams play week 4 this week and then week 8. So twice here in the next 4 weeks. And then it'll get it out of the way halfway through the season. Just be done. Be done with the 49ers one way or another, unless we meet in the playoffs. I said we. I don't believe in we. I didn't mean we. Unless the Rams meet in. I meant we as in 2 teams. But I'm not on the team. Anyway, you know what I mean. You guys know where I stand on we and I. Let's see. What would be another good topic here? Okay, I had a guy in the back seat of my car. Who are these people? He gets in the back seat of my car, Ubered, as I'm Ubering. And everyone's got it, earbuds or earphones or whatever. And this guy just starts playing his music. I think he even had a speaker where he's bumping it in the back seat. I'm just like, first of all, he's on a sidewalk surrounded by people where he's blasting the music. Then he gets in my car and he's doing it again. I'm just like, where is nobody has that internal feeling of hey, I probably shouldn't be doing this, or this is probably rude. What? Why would you get in someone's car and do that? If you guys do that with your in your Uber Lyft experiences, don't do it. It's annoying. It's you're getting in somebody else's car. You want to ask for a music station or something, fine. Or get headphones. What is this? 1978? You don't have headphones? I'm bouncing all over today. I told you guys. Let me see. Game feed live. Already talked about that. All right. I want to talk about something a little more on the political. Well, it's not even political. First of all, I got a nice compliment from Valerie the other day as I was heading out to meet a friend, and said, "Oh, you look nice, or look handsome," whatever she said. I don't like I don't like compliments. That's just another thing. That's probably I don't get many of them. No, I shouldn't say that. I do get some. I do get a lot, but I'm a guy that's hard to take compliments. I'm not trying to be humble here and be patted on the back and get more compliments. I'm just saying it's hard for me. And anyway, she said, "Oh, you look nice," and then kind of leaned in and she said, "Oh, that's what she said. You look handsome," which was very debatable. Poor woman. And then she goes, "Oh, you smell handsome," and I started laughing. I'm like, that's a great quote. You smell handsome. Fellas, look it. This goes back to the high school days. Like, what you got is what you got. I mean, your appearance is your appearance. But hygiene, got to, and it's the standard stuff. But man, you throw on a little smell good stuff. You know how good it is when a young lady walks by and you get the smell of a perfume or whatever. It's intoxicating. And it's the other way with the ladies, fellas. Come on, invest in a nice cologne, not just a body spray. You don't just go you work out. Oh, you spray some bodies, dude. Clean yourself. But I'm talking about that extra aura. Is that the right word here? You want smell handsome. Smell handsome. I think that is very, very good. There's a lot of senses out there, and I can't always look handsome. I know that. I don't think I am. So a lot of you, I have mostly men listening to my my podcast here, I know. And you can't always look handsome, but you can't always smell handsome. So take care of that, fellas. I give Val the credit on that. I was like, we should have t-shirts made. Smell handsome. Why not? You know what I mean? And it's a two-way street. You guys, we all our senses. You know what I mean? That a nice smell from your significant other, a perfume or something. It's like, ooh, all right, let's go. Like, but yeah, when she said that, I was like, okay, I'm buying that fragrance again, my friends. I made note of that. I said, whatever I spent on that was well worth it to get that kind of reaction, we'll say. So look good, feel good, smell good, play good, all those things, right? Whatever the phrases are. Yeah. Good scent goes a long way. That's all I'll say. And I am no means any kind of model or like it's very difficult. It's hard work to look this mediocre. Like it takes work. I got to keep up with things to look this average. If I didn't, we'd be in trouble. But you can always elevate your game in other areas, Phil. I've learned this over the years. Certain area, I'm always going to be a crazy sports guy, balding dude, on the heavier side and very, very short. I guess I can control a few of those things, but in reality, I like to enjoy life a little too. So a little too much maybe. But the fragrance, man, the nose, I think is, I don't know, more of an aphrodisiac than vision. Who knows? Aphrodisiac. Did I use that word right? Sometimes I use a word and I'm like, I've heard that word, but is that the right use of it? Aphrodisiac. What do we do without Google, without computers in our hands? Oh, the stimulates desire. Oh, okay. A little rated R term there, I guess. Sorry, guys. The Roman worshipped what? For a few seconds, she'd fallen for the powerful aphrodisiac of music. Okay, so it's not like sinful or anything. It's just we all have different layers of attraction. Anyway, the moral of the story is smell handsome. I think there's something to that. That should be a catchphrase for a cologne. And if you have few different colognes, good stuff. You know what I mean? Okay. That's like most of you are like, Matt, are you really giving male attraction advice? Not really. I'm just sharing an experience I had, guys. That's all. I hate wearing a tie. I hate dressing up. I hate putting things, I hate keeping up with fashion. I'm a t-shirt and shorts kind of guy. But I don't know. Adapt or die, right? Sometimes with some things. So smell handsome. Look at this is something. This is just an observation I'm having with different interactions of friends and so forth. There's a lot of talk that's gone on about like men, how men treat women and how men think of women, how women feel treated by men and things. Right. Misogynistic is a big term that's thrown around all the time. I'm going to make an argument right now. In my short experience on this life, I find it, I'm an observer, right? I observe and I listen even to strangers in my car or out in public. I'm a keen observer. I think women have a real tough time with other women. A lot of times in an authority position, it doesn't have to be work related, but just in general, I don't know. I think women don't like taking orders from other women. Not that they do like take from men either. I'm not. Don't overthink this. What I'm trying to say, because I don't know. Yeah, I don't even know what I'm trying to say exactly. It's not to say women can't all get along and stuff, but women don't. I don't know. I've been around. I don't have a ton of female friends, but the ones I do have, I do see this like anger in other women mistreating them. They feel mistreated, I think, from other women than they do a lot from men. At least in my experience, the people in my circle, the ladies in my circle, and there's not that many of them, but it does feel like they're a lot. Most of the females I've been around are a lot less offended or mad at men than they are in other women. Okay, that's I think what I'm trying to say. And it's not to say that they're not mad at men or not offended or whatever. They are. We're stupid. I think that's part of the issue is that women understand that we are very simple creatures and are gonna make mistakes all the time. But I think they hold women to a higher standard because they do feel, superior, which they are in a lot of ways. I'll be honest about that. That women think about all kinds of things at once. I can't do that as an example. Or like go back and think about how I was mad at this moment. Like I'm not that smart. I'm very much right now. What are we doing? Like that way. But it's just I'm not accusing anybody. It's just an observation I've been having. I'm like, there's been a lot of talk the past few years about how awful men are in treating women. And there's some absolute jerks out there and other strongly worded terms that I won't use. Guys who mistreat women are, evil. You put your hands on something. Yeah, that obviously is way evil. But I think, I don't know. You look around, things you hear are not always the things you experience. At least for me, things you hear from the media or told by the media all the time. Oh man, and then you're out in regular life. You're like, this is I don't know any like racist friends. Like what do you know? I mean, it's that's as an example, right? It's not to say that they're not out there. I know there's murderers out there. That's for sure. I don't have any friend murderers to my knowledge. And if guys were doing pretty awful things, I probably wouldn't be friends with them. So anyway, that's just food for thought. I find it interesting that I'm always observing. I was so shy and around. I still am, but I have I have a lovely girlfriend now, and a few female friends that are good friends, and it's funny to, I don't know, see and I'm not sharing any secrets or anything. It's just over the course of time, it's an epiphany I had. I look up that word too. And anything with 3 or 4 syllables, man, I get a little nervous. Wait, did I say that right? So that's just an observation. Yeah, it seems like women get a lot more offended or hurt by other women than they really do for men. Not to say they can't. Maybe it's you're around more women, maybe you're around more men in your job or whatever. I don't know. I think there's something to it. I think this is just me thinking out loud, as I often do. Speaking of kind of misinformation and partial truths, we'll say, have you ever talked with a friend who the words coming out of their mouth, it's just like, I'm going to call it, they're speaking media. We all have, there's many languages here in the world, but especially here in California. I mean, you walk down the street, you can hear all kinds of different languages from all parts of the world. It's one of the great things about the state of California and here in the LA area specifically is the diversity and hearing all the places people are from. And but one language that I don't know if I'm fluent in, but I'm learning is media. Like I'm learning the media language, not just for not this podcast, but like what is preached to us. And have you ever had this a conversation with a friend where they're telling you something and you're just listening to them? You're listening to their words. You can look at their mouth move and hear what's coming out, but you're like, you're leaving out some very important truths, and it could be about anything. I'm not telling you any specific friend or relationship or any of that for me, but it's just I'm just saying sometimes you hear things and you're just like, dude, you're speaking media right now. You're trying to get someone to look over here, but well, over here is what is really going on. And I don't know if they're doing it on purpose or if they really do believe their lies or their partial truths or whatever you want to call them. Especially when the funny thing is when you know information, they're withholding information from you that you know, but they don't know that you know. And so you're just kind of like, you're you're withholding that information on purpose because you're trying to keep it from me. Funny thing is, I already know it. I'm not saying I had a conversation recently or anything. I'm saying again, observations. These thoughts pop into my head. Sometimes I hear other things about other people talking, and I'm like, huh. Or again, other conversations going on around me, and I'm like, that guy's speaking media, or that girl's speaking media. Like, not the whole truth. Oh, anyway, these are the thoughts, guys, that come into my head, and I have had friends that I'm listening to. I'm like, oh, you don't know that I know what I know, and I'm not going to tell you what I know because I don't want you to know. It's that great episode in Friends. They don't know that we know they know they know, or something happened. You guys know the episode if you're big friends of the show Friends, long time ago. So yeah, friends who speak media. It's interesting. It's not always in person. Sometimes it's on social media. It's like, to make a point, you just avoided a bunch of truths because you want somebody to feel a certain way about something. It's kind of what we hear all the time from the news media. And I've challenged you guys to open your ears and eyes a little wider to really understand. It's always in the details. Sometimes it could be as something as simple of the media is explaining or describing someone. For instance, this new prime minister, is it prime minister in Italy? It's a far right winger, right? Not just someone who leans right or whatever. It's always a far right wing extremist, right? I can't remember her name, but she's the first female, I think, prime minister in Italy's history. That should be celebrated, but of course it's not because she doesn't lean left. She's not an extreme leftist. No. So I heard that Dennis Prager was talking about that. He breaks things down really, really well when he's reading like a headline or something. And he pointed things out that I skipped over, like this far right. He's like, far right, but a far right politician who has consistently has a long history of bashing the European Union. He was like, bashing? Why wouldn't you say criticizing in that, like, instead of bashing? But it's all at you with an agenda, right? So that's just an example. Carrie Lake, the great, hopefully future governor here of the great state of Arizona, she was being interviewed and she was talking about, if you're not being accused of, if you're not being labeled something, racist or a fascist, that's, I've talked about fascism, but he's like, do you know what a real fascist is? Like, they take away rights of people. They don't want people to be more free, but yet the fascist term gets thrown around left and right just because someone heard it and wants to say what it is without, or just label people that. But anyway, back to Carrie. She said something about, if you're being labeled and called names, which is kind of the only thing the left really does is called, they never really have a legitimate argument. They withhold the truth or to stir the pot and direct conversations, or they just name call you something. And the second you start getting called a name, you've won, or you're over the target, as great Governor Ron DeSantis says a lot. And so you just you get that a lot with people who are successful. Carrie Lake, if you're not called some name by the media, you're not doing your job. And so she's been called all kinds of things, right? She wasn't called these things before she started running for politics, much like someone else I know a few years ago who ran for president. Wasn't called a racist until he became president. That's kind of weird. But it's just things like that where you're like, people who are speaking media that don't know they're doing it, and then other people who are accused of things just because they can't prove you're bad with certain evidence or whatever. They have to just label you something, call you a name, because there's people dumb enough that are going to be like, oh, you guys said that he's a fascist. Okay. All right. You guys said it. I believe you. Whatever the media says, we can do that. That's like part of like fascism, by the way, is like having the media. Anyway, anyway, you guys look this stuff up. I'm already looking things up that I need to look up from time to time. Did you guys know that hurricanes have never happened before? There's never been a hurricane in Florida. And you wouldn't know this, but it's by that beloved media saying that, climate change is causing the hurricane. It's way worse than it's ever been. You guys need to wake up. You guys need to care more. As we say from a mansion that is literally touching ocean water. We're terrified of the oceans rising. Yeah, hurricanes happen in Florida. If a hurricane happens in New York City, maybe Los Angeles, yeah, that'd be a little disturbing. But is playing the song, all these people are posting like videos. Is playing the song Hurricane, it Rock Me Like a Hurricane, is that like insensitive? Shouldn't people be canceled for that? I'm thinking out loud here. That's appropriations. The hurricane is a devastating force. I mean, the Miami Hurricanes, the football team, although they lost to Middle Tennessee State last week. That was hilarious. Miami, we're back. The U. See the U, near the U like this. You actually got to turn it sideways. It's an L. The L. Miami hasn't been relevant, much like SC in a long time, but SC's turning the corner, I think, here, and more big things ahead. Oregon State, man, tough place to play. They pulled that win out last week. What a game it was, and I'm sure people are like, "See, they're not that good," but it's like, dude, play on the road somewhere. Especially in the Pac-12 is a lot better this year than people are giving it credit for. Even me, I thought the Pac-12 was a joke, but Washington's having a heck of a year. UCLA, some quality wins over community colleges. It's going to be a good end of the season here. Utah's solid. That SC Utah game is going to be something here in a few weeks. So yeah, hurricanes have never happened before. This is brand new. And I think playing the hurricane song, what song is that? Rock me like a hurricane. Who sings that? Poison? Hurricane. And for people that are going to name their sons, their children, Ian, in the future, when the Hurricane Ian has done this, pretty awful, pretty insensitive to me. Hurricane, not Bob Dylan. What song is that? Band of Heathens? Was that what it's called? That's ironic. Band of Heathens sings hurricane song. Wow. All right. Well, there you go. No, the Scorpions. I knew it. The Scorpions. Rock Me Like a Hurricane by the Scorpions. Okay. I had to get it. Sometimes you're just like, why am I so close? I'm so far from it. Why? I can't get the answer. So anyway, hurricanes are brand new. Let me see. What else do I have for you guys today? I love President Biden just telling gas stations, lower your prices. Why didn't we do this earlier? Why didn't we get on stage and say that earlier? Gas stations, lower your prices. Lower them. You don't think this has to do? That's not how things work. Like, you think fast food, grocery store, you think all these, we're just like, what we're going to do? We're going to raise our prices. We're just going to do that. Just because. Just to hurt people. No. It's based off of policies, especially in the gasoline industry with, oil. We don't can't dig for oil here. I mean, that would be, you see the hurricanes in Florida that have never happened before. It's because we're digging for oil here, destroying the planet. Give me a break. Yeah, but he says that's not how this works, Biden. President Biden. Maybe examine why the prices are high, why they've gone up. Well, that's because of the war in Ukraine. Oh, really? They were going up before that. Why don't we just dig for oil here? Why don't we open pipelines here? Why are we are purposely running ourselves into a recession? Everything that's going on, every policy that's been made, especially in California, making it harder for people to live. And when I say that, if it doesn't get through to some people, making it harder for poor people to live, which I consider myself one of. When you tell people they can't run the air conditioning, when you tell people gas prices are going to be higher, when you tell people that doesn't affect people who have money, have a decent life. It affects the poor people that you claim you care about. So maybe examine your own policies, President Biden, and why the gas prices. Well, the president doesn't control the gas prices. Really? Well, I think look at. It's not like he went to every gas station and turned the signs himself that, they're going to be $7 now, which they're skyrocketing back up again right now. Everyone's, they're going down. No, they're not. They're going back up right now, right before the election. I don't know if that's good or bad. This was in science summer, physics maybe. Every action has an equal reaction or has a reaction, right? If I take a sip of this drink, the reaction is the drink is a little smaller in the cup, right? The cup, it just didn't just magically, the cup get smaller just by sitting here. There had to be an action for what caused that. Why? We can't look at things that simple. For every action, there's a reaction. And sometimes it's people's reaction to what happened. I think we're going to see that here in less than just over under 40 days. We'll see if there's not much change going on in the election, the midterms, not much changes, then it will tell us that most people are happy being miserable and uncomfortable and paying more money for things. But it's never the head coach's fault. It was the head coach's fault a couple of years ago when things, it wasn't a fault because things were great. Unemployment, energy independent, all those things. That was the coach's fault too. Head coach's fault. But now there's a new coach. It's not his fault. We're almost to halftime, and we're still got to worry about last year's coach, last year's team, rather than what's going on now. Yeah, and I talked about Biden again last week, saying the pandemic is over, right? If you want to, and it's kind of laughable, and then everyone backtracked. No, it isn't. No, we still have. Recently, as an Uber driver, now someone will turn me in for this. I've not been wearing my mask the past, however long it's been. I was for a while. I was complying, and I said, you know what? Other customer, I said, you know what? There's other customers, other things going. We're not doing this anymore. You guys can pretend that this is an extra seatbelt or whatever, or it's a religious symbol. But just Wednesday, Uber and Lyft, or was it Tuesday, put out word to drivers and everyone that masks are no longer required. We got this message a few months ago, but immediately LA County, Barbara Ferrer, she put a hex on that right away. The rest of the country could move on, but no, her and her LA County overlordness, whatever, she decided, nope, not in our transportation. LA County, everyone needs a bath. I've been on trains. I've been to airports. I've been driving people quite a bit. I've been to what else? Little shuttles and things where you're supposed to wear masks. A lot of people weren't doing it. So that was nice to see in LA County. There still are people that are terrified and are going to walk around in a mask, a napkin over their face that they think does something. But all the data that's out there now about, this probably didn't do a whole lot. No one wants to acknowledge and be like, oh yeah, other people said that before, but it was misinformation. I'm gonna get off it. But my question is, Uber and Lyft, did you side no more masks because Biden said the pandemic is over? Kind of the timing is interesting, right? Or is it because most people just weren't listening? You have a policy that people are ignoring, and they're finally like, you know what? Maybe let's do away with it. Or is it because the election's coming and you want things to be as normal as possible? Maybe after the election in December, right around Christmas, we'll be told we can't celebrate Christmas again. That would be great. Let's do that. Let's do that. I mean, let's shut things down again. It's so fun to play these games. Mask on, mask up, mask off. Oh, what a joke. I gotta tell you guys, I get so worked up by this stuff. Something on Amazon Prime. This is Thursday. Thursday Night Football's coming on tonight. Two announcers I really like, Al Michaels and Kirk Herbstreit. Two of my favorites, actually. Al Michaels, wonderful play-by-play guy, has done it for years, called two of the Rams World Championships in 2000 and 2022. But Kirk Herbstreit always had the iconic college football voice. I wasn't a fan of when he cried on national TV a few years ago. That was an embarrassment, but he does a great job. I just don't like the two voices together. I'm not, I don't know. Kirk is college football. He stands for college. Al Michaels is NFL football. And I know we're trying to blend the worlds together and everything, but I don't know. It just doesn't fit. I don't like them together. Maybe it'll grow on me, but two people I like, two people I think are great at their craft, but I don't know. That's just my 2 cents. So again, my listening habit of games is not always in sync with everybody else. So I totally understand that. And if you do like them both together, because it blends them both, then it's all good. Have you ever had a friend tell you something that's funny, like, or show you something that's funny, and you're just like, that's not funny at all? Like, and you don't want to be rude, but you just like, yeah, that was great. And I don't know, they don't get your sense of humor or what, but I don't know. I have a very specific kind of humor. I don't know if I don't think I do. I like all funny. I like inappropriate funny. I like harmful funny. With most jokes, there is a victim in in a joke. That's what makes it funny. Make fun of me. You make fun of me all you want. I don't get all, oh, how could you say that about me? Oh, that's so insensitive. So I love funny. I love stand-up comedy. I've told you guys before, some of the funniest things I've ever heard are about things I totally disagree with. But a good comedian knows how to put something in a funny way that even those who disagree with it can like. Anyway, I just food for thought. It's something out there. And finally, today, now I'm watching Game of Thrones, so I'm victim of this too. But like, we are making so many fantasy and like futuristic movies. Star Wars this, Star Wars that. I know it's all about creativity, but can we get some more movies that like go back in time and look at history? Or like, there's so many stories that we've already had before us that are, you don't have to think of really. There hasn't been too many great, I don't know, war films or historical films in the past few years. We're all about the future and the fantasy. And I think it has to do with so many people are looking at the past as so problematic, or people this is my favorite is you see it everywhere, but like having the standards of expecting people from 40, 50 years ago to have the same standards that you do today. Like you think if you got dropped into, I don't know, the 1700s, that you would be exactly how you are today, have the same thoughts and opinions you do today based off of living in 2022. And so looking back at history, oh, those were awful times. They had this, they did that. They said these things. They believed this thing. These people didn't have right. It's just one thing after another. And it's just like, yes, but it's important to look back at history so that we can learn. And isn't it in seeing the ways of the past that isn't that a celebration of seeing where we have evolved to, how much better we are now in some areas? Instead of looking, oh, all those people are evil. How could they believe that? We should tear their statues down. Hey, why not celebrate the fact that we've evolved? We've opened our eyes to a lot of things, and yeah, we've improved. I mean, people want to act like they're the same victim that someone was 50 years ago. It's like, you're not a victim. You have opportunities galore. Go live this crazy world. Do the things now that you weren't, that you may have been restricted from years ago. Now everyone has a computer in their hand. Most people, there's ways to get around. If you don't have a car, you could take Uber. I mean, there's so many opportunities. The motivation has to come from within. It's all, we can look at the past all we want. It's important to learn from. I know I sure do. Learn things about founding fathers or whoever, some great people in the past. And also some awful people who've done a time or two did some really good things. And you could say it's a two-way street, right? Some really great people did some bad things, obviously, but they also did a lot of good things. Just like every now, broken clock is right twice a day, right? I don't know. I don't know what I'm saying, but I'm talking to this mic. That's why I come here and spew things off, because get random thoughts in my head and I got to get them out for you guys. And it's up to you guys to translate these things for me on the Get Home Safe podcast. All right, guys, enjoy your weekend. I'll be back next week, probably breaking down the Rams loss to the 49ers. If I have to be honest, because the Rams aren't playing great. Niners aren't either, but when those two teams get together, it is sure is a lot of fun. I need you guys to listen closely to conversations out there. Maybe the things that are coming from your friends, your colleagues, and also maybe your own words. Maybe you're the one speaking and leaving out truths, or maybe you're trying to manipulate conversations verbally or whatever. I know I've been guilty of it in the past, and I'm like, why did I say that? Why did I do that? And even on the podcast, I shouldn't have said that. So I re-listen sometimes and I'm like, oh, that was stupid. But anyway, we live and we learn, we move on, we move forward. And ultimately we get home, safe, right? That's if all goes well. Anyway, enough for me, guys. Have a great weekend. Enjoy all of the football. I'm probably going to be Rio Hondo football lists on Friday night because the game's canceled. And then next week they have a bye. I don't know what they're going to do with the schedule. It's just crazy, man. People still hold on to this COVID thing, and it's like, stop it. Move on. It's okay. You're going to be fine. You're going to be okay. I promise. All right, guys. Enough for me. Thanks for tuning in. Go on social media. Hey, we're at 89 YouTube subscribers right now. If we get to 100, we'll have a big party. No, but I am able to do some different things on YouTube if I do get to 100 subscribers. So please encourage some of your friends or whatever. I just need 11 more. I got over 100 on my Charge to Keep YouTube page and YouTube channel. And I definitely would like to have that here on the Get Home Safe page so that, again, I can do different things on the YouTube channel, that platform. So if you haven't already, please go on there and subscribe to the podcast. It just means clicking a button, subscribe. It would be a great help to me. And we'll continue to put episodes out for you. I'll get a guest on here soon, I promise. But I put so much effort into the Charge to Keep podcast with guests and things that I may not have guests until, around November or something, when the high school football season starts to wind down. But for now, it'll be just me on here rambling my thoughts, my frustrations, my crazy ideas here into this microphone each and every week on Thursdays, Friday, whatever day I get to it. I'll have it out for you here on the Get Home Safe podcast. Guys, have a great weekend. I will see you next week. But as always, guys, no matter what you're doing, whether you're out on the town or around in third base, get home safe.